Good evening everyone and welcome to today's art stream. Welcome back everyone who joined me yesterday for a bit of Stardew Valley. We had a really nice time. I'm actually really looking forward to doing that again. I enjoyed that a lot. But for today, back to serious stuff, aka work, which means I'm working on a brand new commission today. Today we have a lovely elven, I believe she is... yes, this is a Circle of Spores druid character. Circle of Spores is definitely one of my favourite druid subclasses. Super cool. And yeah, so we're going to be working on this lovely character today. As you can see, I've started the sketch. This is kind of how I begin most pieces. I usually start by working out the body shape and getting that down, as well as blocking in items that are being held that kind of create weight and are important to the pose. So that's just the very rough shape of where the staff's going to go. Then we've got the body shape, the kind of pose, and then the face and hair, and that's usually where I start. And after that, it becomes time for the fun part, which is layering it up with the layers of costume and accessories and stuff. Oh no, Rebel, I do hope that's not my end. It looks to me like it's okay on my end, buffering wise, so I'm sorry your internet's playing up. ABR, hi, welcome to the stream. Cool, so first thing I'm going to do, as you can see when I'm sketching, I tend to have lots of different layers. I've got a layer for the body, a layer for the face, and a layer for the hair right now. I'm going to start off by drumming down the opacity on the body layer so that we can layer up some clothes on top of it. Also, excuse me wearing like the thickest, most polar jumper ever today, but it's very, very cold, and I want to keep warm. Right, so I'm just looking at my, looking at the references the commissioner gave me for this character. So, we are going to have a nice long embroidered coat on this character, which will be very cute. So yeah, let's just get started with that straight away. Oh, yeah, thank you so much. Oh, Colour Bandits, is this your character? Awesome! I always like it when the commissioner can watch the stream, so yeah. Welcome. Now, I don't know if it's me. It looks like that line is jiggling. No? Maybe my tablet's being weird. I don't know, maybe my eyes are being weird. I did stay up quite late last night. Anyway, let's just crack on with some costume design. So the first thing about this coat is it has a central closure. So I'm going to start by just, oops, not in green. What am I doing with my life? We're going to start by blocking out the shape the coat is going to take as it goes down over the body. I already have a bit of a central line marked out, as you can see, but this is going to be important for the shape of the coat. Oh wow, Phoenix Iwaki, that does sound pretty freezing. I imagine it's probably colder where you are than it is here. I'm based in the UK, so similar island vibes, but yeah, it's pretty cold today. Alright, so we're just going to gently work in the collar, which I might do coming a bit further down actually. Like so. And then I'm just going to go across to the shoulder. And that's kind of where the edges of this coat are going to be. The sleeves I'll pop in a minute, but for now we're just going to work out kind of the top upper part of this coat. Now we're going to have some creases coming in at the waist, where the coat's kind of bending with the body. Today, Tilly, we are painting elves. We have a half drought, half ASMR spore druid, which is really cool. I love spore druids, as I've mentioned. Right, this coat's going to flare out from the hips somewhat, which is really fun. So we're just going to roughly pop in that shape of the coat as it flares. I'm just going to add a bit more volume to the top because we are going to have... She is wearing garments underneath the coat, so It's not going to be quite so close to the body there. And I might just make this line a little less straight. We've got that bump there. I think it will flare from there instead. Because we're going to have some belts and things going on. Alright, and then we're just going to do the bit where the coat comes apart at the front. And then we are going to have some kind of creases coming in as it kind of flows around the hips and comes down like so. -2, whoo! I think it's about that here as well, actually, now I come to think about it. -2 sounds about right. Alright, so that's the basic shape of the coat. Next thing to do, I'm going to look at the sleeves. Now, this coat's quite interesting. It's like a very medieval style. So we start with a little bit of kind of ruching around the armpit. You always get some kind of fabric getting caught up there. Again, in terms of knowing where to do your fabric folds, it's very much a case of just observing a lot of clothes. I found it really helped when I started to I actually started learning to make clothes last year, and that helped me understand the way it's constructed an awful lot better. So I really recommend looking into that if you want to learn to draw clothes better. I'm just going to take down the collar around the chin a bit because it's looking a little bit constricting at the moment. Yeah. And then we've kind of got this oversleeve design, which I really like. It's very medieval, which I think is cool. And I want to just make it a little bit more spore druidy. And then we'll have lots of kind of, again, creases around the elbow. And then around the wrist where it's kind of bent up. And yeah, that's about right. So now we've done that, we can just tidy up here a bit. And I'm just going to do a little bit of a pattern down there as well. And because I really like the feeling on this character, I'm just going to add a few little embellishments, like some little berries. Just kind of suggest those in on some of these decorative elements. Cool. So then we go do the same on the other side. Thank you so much, Annie Sound 16 for following. I hope I did say that right. Alright, so for the other side, it's very similar. Again, just making sure those creases are in roughly the right place before we take the shape and up and around. Again, this is the kind of wool fabric that will have creases basically up the whole length, so. I might actually take this line over to the left a tiny bit, like so. A little bit more balance there. Hey, Stu! Alright, now I can just remove a few construction lines underneath. We are not going to see any cleavage, so we don't need a lot of these. Going back to the clothing layer, I'm just going to suggest kind of like the shadow underneath the bust. and even out these lines a bit. Okay, now we've got quite nice progress coming along for the shape of the clothing. So, the next thing I want to do is, I was going to add a few more little berries and embellishments actually up here, wasn't I? Yeah, because it's cute, and I like cute things. Okay, so let's start adding some embroidery onto the coat. I think that will be fun. Now this, we are very much going to do fairly freehand and be a bit experimental with. One of the cool tricks for doing embroidery I will show you so let's have a look. Yeah, so we kind of have embroidery around the front and then going up the bottom as well. So let's just, as I say, we'll start very freehand. And we want motifs of kind of berries and rowan leaves, which is going to be very cute. We're just mostly going to do the curly bits for now, and I'll show you why in a minute. And then we're just going to roughly try and do the same decal on the other side. Bear in mind that some bits will be partially hidden by the collar and the hair. Oh, thank you so much for coming by, Phoenix, and I hope to see you next time. Okay, so let's go down to a slightly smaller brush as we get some more detail. That one wasn't quite equal. That's the problem with having to do things kind of that are reflected. It can be quite difficult to get the angles right. And like I say, the actual berries and leaves of the rowan, I'll be adding more of those in a minute once I've kind of shown you what it is that I'm doing. Alright, there is a bit of simple embroidery up there. I'm just going to add some down the bottom as well. This kind of shape, just with these kind of easy swirls coming along. Hey, Gemma Nice Radio, thank you so much. It's lovely to have you. Alright, let's say that's just the simple form of what we want to do down here. Now we've kind of got a situation where the coat is overlapping itself a bit. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to be a bit cheeky here, save a bit of time. I'm going to use my tools to just kind of reflect that on the other side. And then the place where it's being covered over, we're just going to erase like so. And then I can show you something quite cool and fun. Actually, I kind of want to I want to do more with this embroidery. I really do. Now I've kind of got the hang of it. Because I feel like there should be more. Whoops, that was a bit too far down, wasn't it? Alright, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a quick liquefy to zoom in a bit. It's hard to see otherwise. To just get these looking a bit more like proper reflections of each other. There we go. Right, now I can show you the cool embroidery trick. So what I'm going to do, oh, the bot's back. Oh, well, at least we've got the, at least Nightbot has been properly armed to deal with them. Hey, Lizaf. I am doing very well, thank you. It's Friday, so congratulations. It's Friday, we did it. It's been a week. So yeah, cool thing with embroidery. Let's do the thing I keep promising to show you. What I'm gonna do is this layer where I've, oh, we've got 2 layers for this. Okay, let's merge those together. There we go. The layer we've got the embroidery on, I'm gonna double click. There we go, it takes a moment to come up sometimes. We're gonna click stroke. We're gonna turn the thickness, I think 3 looks about right, doesn't it? And we don't want that nasty green. We want a grey, similar to what's right. At the moment it looks a bit messy, which is kind of the way it is, but now I'm gonna make sure the alpha channel's locked, and I'm going to match the background colour and fill it in. And as you can see, the little outline we've put on has given us a really cool little effect for the embroidery, which is going to make it much easier to kind of render out later on. And again, this is just a rough guide for the embroidery when I come to do the line art, but just an example of something cool that you can do. So we actually want this set to multiply, so I'm going to colour this in white rather than grey. And then I'm going to turn down the opacity a little bit because, there we go, we just want to suggest the pattern, we don't want it domineering too much. And there we have, that's kind of how you do some nice embroidery. So yeah, we'll use this as a baseline for the kind of rowan leaves and berries I'm going to add on when I actually come to do I'm kind of torn. I could do the embroidery on line art, but I kind of also want to do it on just pure colour layer, and I don't know what to do yet. We'll see. For now, that's just a nice kind of planning stage, so we'll leave that the way it is. Annie16, thank you so much for following. I hope you enjoy the rest of the stream. Alright, so with that we're done, we're going to go back to the layer which has the rest of the coat on. Drop back down to a slightly smaller brush because we've got creases around the waist that we need to put in. Oh, also we should probably go back to the actual colour we were using for all of this. So we're just going to put in some gentle creases at the waist just to show that this coat isn't like super tight. And then we're going to have some very gentle creases around the armpit as well. Just makes it look a bit more realistic. And that is the coat mostly done. So I'm just going to have a double check what the next things to do are. Nice, okay, so we're not going to quite see the boots or the leggings, but I'm just going to mark in a little bit more darkly where the legs are. Underneath the coat. Okay, so what do I want to do next? Okay, something quite cute that I'm looking forward to put in. Next we'll do some accessories. So I'm going to make a new layer on top. As always, it's set to multiply. I might take a slightly darker grey because it's already going on top of other stuff. This lovely character is going to be wearing some cute earrings. I believe they're like raven feather earrings. So we're just going to pop those in now. Just the basic shape of that coming down. And then perhaps the cutest thing about this character is she's wearing a hat, like a kind of a witchy hat, in the shape of an ink cap mushroom because Spore Druid. So again, I'm going to do a new layer for this because this is going to be a bit more challenging. We're going to do this cute little hat. So I want to have it tilted so we get to see most of her hair. So, as I work this out, hats are tough. I find drawing hats quite difficult. I don't know if anyone else does. So I'm just going to work out the basic shape of the hat and how much it's going to be covering. We could have it tipping forward, whoops, or we could have it tipping backward. And I'm not sure which. I kind of like it tipping backward a bit. It gives me some kind of Regency vibes. I don't know. It's just kind of Jane Austen-y. It's cute. I might, in that case, make this open part start a bit sooner. Do I have a rule of thumb where to cut the figure without it feeling weird and abrupt? Honestly, it usually depends on the pose that I'm working on. I like to, for example, in this case, because this character is wearing this long coat, I wanted to frame it so that the picture didn't cut off until I'd shown where the coat ends. So I usually, I base it on the pose and the clothing the character's wearing. So if we've got like a long tunic or say a coat like this or a knee-length dress, usually about there. It's a bit easier to just kind of do whatever feels right if the costume doesn't have an element like that. Where's the, oh, it's there 8, isn't it? I'm just gonna take this in a little bit. There we go. There we go. Back to hat time. Oops, there we go. So yeah, that's kind of like my sort of, I don't say it's a rule of thumb, but it's a rule. And I'm still kind of experimenting with how I want this hat to fall, but such is the beauty of doing sketches. And then ink caps, if we say it's coming up like that, and that's roughly the top. Ink caps kind of come down with a bell shape, like so. And as you can see with that shape, we would want to be putting it far deeper, like this, onto the head. And it's almost like doing a dress-up doll, only like this I feel looks a bit too much like a rain cap, so I'm going to do a little bit of experimenting with the depth of the hat. So we're going to go back into my liquify tool. Nice big brush, not that big, but kind of like 700 will do it. And I kind of like pulling the hat back a bit. Ooh yeah, that's cute. And perhaps even making it a little bit more jaunty. Maybe that's too jaunty. Maybe that's about the right level of jaunt. We shall see. We'll go with it for now. Again, I kind of, is it too big now? Or is it not big enough? Big hat. Nah, big hat's too big. Or small hat. Oh, that's quite cute. I quite like small hat. Sitting on top of the curls like that. Yeah, I think I'm on team small hat. How am I doing today? I am doing very well, thank you. We have our very sweet elven spore cleric here, who I'm enjoying painting very much. No, we need that little flick at the end, really. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a copy of the hair layer. And then erase the bits that are being obfuscated so we can clearly see the hat's positioning, which kind of allows me to see that I want to move it this way a bit. Oh yeah, that's better. And down a bit. Okay, now we can add a bit more detail to this hair. Now it is an ink cap, so we have kind of like a cute pattern kind of playing out. Again, I'm probably not going to put this in the lineup, but it's kind of just to give me some idea of how this is going to look. Oh, kiss your hearts, thank you so much. But, you know, it comes, you just have to give it time. But yeah, perhaps one of the most important things about the ink cap is that it has a very inky edge. So firstly, I'm just gonna give the edge like a bit of a wave. Maybe not quite that strong, but you get the idea. And then, because it is an ink cap, you're gonna have little droplets that kind of just dangle down in the way that only a spore druid would. It's a very unique hat. It's very sweet. Nice. And now I'm going to go back into filter and I'm going to play with the shape of the top again. Because I might like it being a bit more shallow now after all that. No, I prefer that actually. But yes, there is our basic hat shape. Let's just mess with it a little bit more. Because I like to mess with these things. Just give it a bit more of a bit more shape to it. Oh, I like that. Yeah, making it a bit less regular. And there is our little hat. So we have the little hat, we have the earrings. Now I think we want to look at her equipment. She has a well-worn brown leather herbalist satchel with the ingredients of her potion making. So we want to add a satchel. So what I think I want to do for this is we're going to make it a shoulder bag. Let's just merge the earring and the hat together because now we're good with those. I'm going to just erase the stuff that's being obfuscated, and then the ear is going to go on top, so that can go like so. Make it extra mushroomy because there's gills on the inside. Yeah, so I thought about that. I don't know if we'll end up seeing them if it'll be too dark, but we can totally add that in to give that extra mushroomy effect. And now I'm just looking at it and I almost want to drag part of it this way a bit. Make it a bit longer at the back. Yeah, I can dig that. Let's pop that in. Very experimental. Thanks for hanging out, Gregzilla311. I hope you enjoyed the stream so far. Cool, so what to do next? We're gonna do that satchel. We're going to do it. So new layer. And we're going to have it coming down and across the body like so. And then it's going to be like one of the ones that's on the worn on the side of the body. So let's go down to a slightly smaller brush. We've kind of got the fat of the bag coming in there and the main body there. You can just kind of see as it goes behind the rest of the body. And then what I'm gonna do is, this again will be more of a line art thing, but I'm gonna suggest like a nice rugged kind of cottagecore style stitching on the side of the satchel to make it a little bit a little bit kind of more homemade. And I'm actually gonna make it bigger too. I want this thing to be bulkier. Just correcting some of these lines. And then where the strap kind of attaches like so. And of course we're going to show just like a suggestion of where the other side of the strap is going back up the other side of the body. And then we want to add a belt, I think. Just going across there. This is a very cute character. And I'm gonna do the belt kind of like woven because again it kind of reinforces this slightly cottagecore style we've got going on here. Just because it's cute. And then just add a little buckle there. And we'll do the side of the belt just kind of dangling down. And then the braid carries on back up to where it joins the body. Like so. Okay. So with that, I think the last, so the last accessory we need to add is this character has, I'm just going to turn down that opacity, a rather interesting looking plague doctor mask made out of a Kenku Lich's skull. So we gonna need to draw a big bird skull. So I'm just gonna open some reference up on my machine. That I can use to work from. Yeah, I love how this is adorably cottagecore with some serious goth elements. So just kind of looking for a good reference material example. This kind of reminds me back when I was doing my A-levels, which is like the equivalent of late high school for those of you in the US. I made a mask which was like, it's huge. It was like 2 feet long, crow skull mask when I was like going through my edgy phase, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah, soft goth cottagecore, I think. Alright, I'm just going to just start sketching the rough shape of this mask. I'm basing it on a crow skull, roughly. Doesn't matter that it's kind of in the wrong place for now. I'm going to move it and kind of position it when we kind of get to that point. And then I'll probably make some changes because obviously it isn't just a skull, it's an actual plague doctor's mask made from a skull. But for now, we... Also, I'm pleased I got the vibe right. Soft goth cottagecore. Fantastic. It's a great vibe, I 100% approve. Just leave that unfilled, I think. And then the bottom of the mask is going to come through here. Do you prefer using a drawing tablet or drawing tablet with a screen on it? So I prefer using a screen tablet. That's what I'm currently using. I'm using the Wacom 16. Cintiq 16. Which was one of the new Cintiqs. Well, I say it's new. It came out a couple of years ago now. I want to say 2 years ago. And I've been really pleased with it. It's been great. It's been very hard wearing. It's kind of done everything I needed it to. And yeah. I find normal tablets that aren't screen tablets, I find it the disconnect quite jarring. It's just the top half of the skull? No, it's not. Yeah, I find the disconnect really jarring on non-screen tablets. I don't know, it's just difficult. Makes the hand-eye coordination much harder, I think. When you can't really see what you're doing. In quite the same way. I mean, Cintiq style tablets are a lot more expensive, but if you're kind of looking into breaking into it professionally, for me it was 100% worth it. Okay, we have a spooky skull. So, now we have the skull, we can kind of position it. I'm gonna have it kind of drooping down a little bit. Because what I'm going to do is have the strap kind of attaching itself to the belt. like so. So now it's just chilling there on the belt, which means I can bring back those other accessories and erase the places where they are underneath this plague mask. Like so. And that's the side of the satchel, so that can stay. And then, yeah, Cintiq 16, not the pro version. I think the version I got for about, I think it was about £470 when I bought it a couple of years ago, roughly. I also got a stand with it, which was really good. The stand helps a bunch. I can't work on tablets that are just flat on a table anymore. Alright, I'm also going to now erase the coat where it's now being obfuscated by these other accessories. And lastly, we will do the same thing with the embroidery where it's also being covered up. Sometimes you've got to press very hard to get rid of the special effect thing we've got going. Alright, and there we have most of the sketch done. I'm just going to double check, see if there are any features I've missed. The embroidery is going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, it's going to be good. Who's it going to again? Yeah, cool. So let me just look through this sheet. Oh, the staff. Of course, we need to look at the staff some more. The staff is adorable. I love the staff. And don't forget to save. This is very important. We do not want to lose everything we've been working on. Okay, I'm gonna merge some of these layers together. The accessories layer is now all one thing. We've got the hat. We have the hair. We have a backup hair just in case. We have the face. We have the embroidery. And we have the coat itself. So let's give the staff some love. Now this staff is going to be adorable. There is a moonstone at the top with some blooming fungus kind of around it. Yeah, it is weird to just remove the face, it's true. We're going to start up the top. So we are going to start with the moonstone crystal, which is nestling just in the top here. I'm just going to start by drawing the crystal on its own without anything else around it. And then it's kind of like joining geometric shapes together roughly to just put in the different contours of the crystal. We don't need that one in there. Right, so we've got a very rough kind of crystally shape there. It'll look better when it's painted in. And then we've kind of got the wood is going to be having slightly kind of gnarled effect coming around like so. Like very knotted, proper Gandalf style wood, I think. And then we've got all these little blooming mushrooms around the top as well, which I'll add in a sec. Just gonna tidy up some of these areas. And then I'm just gonna do quickly the rest of the basic wood contours. It gets a little bit less gnarly as we go down. So kind of getting this nice kind of spiraling wood effect, which occasionally will reverse direction because, you know, wood doesn't necessarily abide by any regular rules. It is nature. Okay. So there is our staff, the basic shape. Now let's add some little mushy rooms. Just going to turn down the opacity a wee bit, make a new layer. I'm going to chug soon with all these layers, but it's alright, we'll be merging them down soon enough. So we're just going to do some little little mushrooms. Sprouting out of the different sides. Kind of big caduceus energy, really. Any other particular mushrooms coming over? Nope, just the little ones. And there we have a mushroomy staff. Okay, so I might pull down the bottom of the staff or push up the top of the staff a little bit, actually. Oops, we don't want to do that. What we want to do is let's merge this down, then we'll do that. And we're just going to essentially move that up bits there. Thank you so much. Favre music for following. And then we can just kind of gently continue the shape of the staff down there. That's better. They look a little bit more balanced now. Awesome. Where's my stream thing stopped? Oh, there we go. Goodness gracious. So sorry for missing you out earlier. Kiss Your Arts and Loki Mischief 11. My OBS was glitching out a bit. Okay, so we have the sketch. That's pretty much done. I want to make the top a little bigger. So again, I'm just going to grab the top. And what I'm going to do, holding the right shortcut, is we're just going to kind of stretch it in a few directions, which will just make it a bit bigger. Lovely. Okay. Now let's just recrop our canvas a bit. I want a bit more space above our staff. Don't want more space on the right hand side. I think we're okay. I love stuff like that. There's a chap at the Empire LARP that I do who makes that kind of stuff, LARP safe stuff, so they're like foam and latex, so they're safe to be used in like combat and stuff, and it's adorable. He made a stuff like that, only at the top it was like a little nest, and they had this little cute little you know the fox squirrel from Nausicaa Valley of the Wind? Basically had one of those nestling in the top of the staff. I'm like, you would never want to use that to hit anyone because it's too cute. Okay, now I'm just going to erase places where we do not need the original kind of body layer underneath. Such as here. Basically everywhere. We've kind of this character's wearing, it kind of covered most of the basic skin layer, so we can get rid of that line. We can kind of get rid of some of the staff lines that are no longer needed, like that. Awesome. Okay. Okay, so with that we have basically a finished sketch. Oh, Loki Mischief 11, thank you so much. So we can delete layers we do not need. I don't like deleting layers because I'm like, what if I want to come back and add more outfits for the commissioner? But I do need to conserve my... Right, so we do not need the hair. We're okay with the hat how it is, I think. Oh dear. Oh, fantastic! Thank you so much. Drawing D&D characters is just a complete and utter joy. There is a few things more enjoyable than being able to draw your D&D characters. Okay, so let's get rid of that layer. I'm just going to be brutal, and we're going to merge all these sketch layers together. So we give it with a moment before we set them back down to multiply. And we are going to turn down the opacity like so. And then it's time to resize the canvas, ready for line art, which we are going to move on to next. So we are going to want, oh, this is quite a wide one. I think we're going to go for 3,500. See how that suits us. Call me original. Hey, welcome to the stream. I'm just going to wait for my canvas to resize because it does take a little while sometimes. Still going. We're almost there. There we go. Cool. New layer. Make sure we're on multiply. Grab a kind of shade of grey that's about 2/3 down. 5C, 5C, 5C being the hex code for this particular one. Then I'm going to start with the brush size 9. And we're going to start with the face because that's usually where I start lining this kind of thing. So just going to check. I think this, yeah, this pen size will be fine as long as our touch is very gentle. And we're just gonna join these areas together, as I say, incredibly gently with the brush. You do not want to be pressing hard in order to get a nice line art. In this style anyway. Some line arts will be a lot heavier, and that's totally fine. This is just the way I like to paint. Oh, Evermishi, thank you so much for the donation. That's wonderful. Honestly, I updated my, because I'm currently saving up. All donations are going towards improving my webcam, because at the moment I'm using a very cheap one I've had for years and years and years. Because I want to get like a proper professional streaming one. And I'm now on about 70% of my goal. So any and all donations that I get right now will go towards improving and upgrading my camera. So that will make it easier to film some more interesting content in the new year. I have a few things planned on the back burner, and my first step to getting my setup is a new webcam. And after that, I'm planning to get some decent lights. And then in summer, my goal is to get a proper digital camera so I can do some filming, because I would love to do some more costume making stuff. I want to do some videos on leathercraft. Because I had a few people ask about that. I'd love to do some on making LARP costumes and cosplay, because that could be really interesting and fun. So yeah, I got a lot of ideas and I'm just kind of saving up for all the kit to be able to carry them out. So thank you so much for your donation. I trust me, it is incredibly appreciated. And thank you so much for the gift sub. Oh, you people are wonderful. Honestly, I have the most lovely, lovely chat. You're all very generous, kind people. Alright, let's do this little earring. I've got the fuzzy top of the feather here. And then we are going to just draw the rest of the feather coming down. Thank you so much, Evermishi. Aww. At this rate, hopefully I'll be able to get the new webcam in a couple of weeks and you will see the difference immediately. Alright, there is the feather. Awesome. Well, I'm very excited that you are interested, because I have so many ideas and stuff I want to make. 2021 is going to be the year where I do all the content creation, because I've got so many ideas and things I want to do. And I got loads of wonderful people I want to collaborate with this year. Alright, going down to a size 6 for the lips and general facial features, because obviously they're going to be quite detailed. And then just tidying up in a few places. That curve nice and smooth in there. Okay, there's a nose. Now let's do the eyes. The eyes are always the bit I struggle with most when it comes to doing facial features. So let's see how they go. Oh, Loki Mischief 11, thank you so much. And then just gently gonna put in the construction lines for the eyelids. A lot of these lines on the facial features won't actually be visible in the final piece because I tend to have a layer that goes on top of the line art, which is like a paint layer to cover up the construction lines that I no longer need. Okay, that's that eyelid. Now we need to do the bottom of the eye. Also, the music's gone awfully quiet. Let's turn that up a little bit, shall we? Oh, we're on the ominous tracks, I see. And then the other eye, just kind of looking and making sure we've got the same direction. Kind of focusing on, which is the hardest part really, balancing the eyes, making sure they look like they're both looking at the same thing rather than staring off in different directions. Eyes are really tough. Right, let's pop in the eyebrows, and then I'm just gonna do the thing I hate doing. Any artists in the chat will probably know what I'm referring to. Oh, thank you so much for joining us, fan of our music. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Alright, time for the thing I don't like. We are going to I'm just going to correct something I've already seen that is a bit wrong, and then we're going to flip the canvas. No one likes doing that. No one likes it at all, as it highlights all of the problems with the work. However, there aren't too many this time, so that's nice. What I am gonna do is I'm just gonna, whoops, not that low. Put a bit more emphasis on the other eye. Then I'm gonna take this into liquefy and do a little bit of magic in there. The dreaded the dreaded canvas flip, absolutely. Gonna use this to just fix a few bits of the face. The eyes are actually alright. They came out okay in the end. Maybe this one could... that needs to drop down a little bit. That can go up a tiny bit. But there, you can kind of see it helps you get a bit of a better balance. Awesome. Actually, I'm kind of... does that eye need to be bigger? Maybe it does. Maybe it does. So let's zoom in again. Bigger brush. Just go for an 88. 88 to 91 FM. Yeah, let's make that ever so slightly bigger and then reinforce the top lid a little heavier with the eyelashes. Awesome. Okay, I'm happy with that. Let's flip ourselves back. Boop. And then I'm just going to add some lashes. Thank you so much, Twitch Epic 606, for following. Alright, there's a few little lashes to just kind of add to the edges. And now we are ready to do the hair, I think. Do I want to do the hat first? I haven't drawn hats. I haven't had a hatted character for a while, so I think we'll do hair and then hat, because the hat's probably going to change a few things. So we're going to go to an 8. And we're just going to start marking in these curls. That's not witchcraft. It's just luck. Totally. But thank you though. It's very kind. And then we're just going to gently pop in these curls. I want them to be nice and soft, so we're going to spend some time over them. Thank you so much, Lord Anshin, for following as well. I hope you enjoy yourself. this hair to be really soft and fluffy. And Foxgloves42, thank you very much for following as well. Suddenly, all the follows are coming in. Okay, there are some curls on the right hand side. Let's just continue doing the right hand side for now. Oops. And then in a few places we're just going to tidy those up and see how they're coming along, and then we'll just keep adding them in. I love doing big hair. Curly hair and big hair, kind of personal favourite things of mine. Okay, nearly there. Can I see how it's all looking without the sketch underneath now? Colour Bandits, thank you so much for joining me. I'm so pleased you're liking her so far. I'll probably have an update for you later this evening, which I will send to you privately. So have a lovely evening. Well, have a lovely day. It sounds like you're going to work, so good luck. And it's Friday, so we've got that going for us. Okay, there's the right hand side. Now we will move across and do the left. Kind of got like the edge that's coming down there. Let's have a little loose curl coming just in there, shall we? I think that's cute. Okay, we're getting there. Now we've got quite a lot of heavy curls coming in here, so I'm just going to block out the ones in the foreground first. Just twisting around, kind of following a central axis usually. We'll have harder lines on a few of them to kind of bring them to the foreground, but as a general rule, very soft lines with all of them. How do I do straight hair? Yeah, so straight hair is tough. I wonder if I can do a very short mini tutorial time. Let's say we have an orb, and this is like someone's head. I'm not gonna, actually, let's make it look more like a face, just for now. No, it's alright. I like doing mini tutorials sometimes. Alright, so we have a face here. There's an elf here. And if I'm doing straight hair, it still follows curves. I think that's the important thing to kind of be aware of, that you still got to work with curves. Let's say we wanted a straight fringe. It's going to stand out a little bit from the head. And again, we're never painting a straight line. We're always going in arcs. And that's one of the key things to making it look like it's got shape and movement. And these arcs will follow the shape of the head, they'll follow the forehead. That top bit came out like a total mess, let's ignore that. It helps to actually decide what you're doing before you just start scribbling, as it happens. Ears also will affect the flow of the hair. A lot of hair will get caught up around the ears. And then, with the actual straight hairs, it helps to do very long fluid strokes. Rather than painting too slowly or being too perfect. Again, as you can see, I don't use the first stroke I do. I always kind of change stuff up and use Control-Z a lot. But rather than doing individual hairs, you're kind of doing clumps. So let's see. Let's top the ear there. And you can use a few straight lines for the bottom, and then a few strokes as they come down. Just like in the middle, where you've got it bowing in on itself, where shadows would normally be. Just to kind of give you another. So like this area, I tend to put lines in to... And that's like super quick, like scribble as a basic idea of how I might do that kind of like straight hair. It's flowing around a shape still, even if that shape is just empty air. Let's give this person a neck, shall we? They're anime now. Yay! Anyway, there is some scribbly nonsense. But yeah, that's basically, whoops, how I do it. Whoop, and it's gone. And yeah, usually it's a lot cleaner than that because I'll have a sketch underneath with a larger brush. But that's kind of like a very quick, rough idea of how it goes. Curls are a bit harder because not only do they have their own shapes and corkscrews do they follow, but you've also got to get the larger volume. But if you imagine it like overall like a big round 3D shape, then that tends to help. Hey, Angelus Lucis, welcome to the stream. I hope you've had a nice day since yesterday. We had a nice chill Stardew Valley stream yesterday, which was really nice, and it definitely helped me relax between work, so I'm pleased I did that. I'm going to do that again next week. I had fun. I quite like reading out the dialogue as well in my D&D voices. I know, I'm actually quite pleased with the hat. I find hats quite tough, and this one came out fairly well, so I'm pleased with that. Alright, we're almost done with these curls now. The character I drew the other day, the Fire Ganassi, the curls on that character, they took me a while. That character had some complex hair. Okay, and there we have the hair, nice and poofy and curly, and cute. Just gonna add a few bits here so we don't have to draw the neck in. Okay, there's some lines. There's what it looks like without the line art. Let's do the hat. And I think the hat will be done on its own layer, which we can then tweak. So going back up to, no, not a 9, we want an 8. The one thing it won't give me. Oh, no problem, Gemini's Regio. Thank you so much for joining me. Alright, we're just going to start gently with the kind of like wiggly edge of this hat. The edge is going to have like a lip on it, like that. And then basic shape going up. And it's not going to be totally uniform. There's going to be like, it almost looks like it's made up of lots of little... It looks like it was made by Conan from Naruto. Lots of these kind of square sheets, and that's the thing that popped into my head. Oh, braids are tough. If you want, I can do a very quick braid tutorial too. Woohoo! We're full of tutorials today. So for braids, I usually start with a tube. Like here is the basic shape of our braid. Then I start at the bottom, from about 2/3 across and do that. And then from the middle of there, we go there. And we carry on this up, always starting from about halfway through the last line. And then we just do the curves that join the lines to the line above, like so. And there is a basic braid shape. To then make it look more like hair, I do little hairy lines starting from the bottom, which is where the hair is kind of being tucked into. I'll do some from the top as well. Like so. There you have a kind of a nice neat braid. And then sometimes it's nice to add some loose hairs kind of on the sides. Like so there, and then you can take a tiny brush just to chase those to make them part of the hair itself. And that's roughly how I do a braid. Sometimes I will just reinforce these little corner bits that the stuff's getting tucked into. But there's a braid for you. That's basically how I draw them, and hopefully that's somewhat helpful. Screenshot because it's going. But this stream will be up on YouTube, so if you want to watch those little snippets again or clip them, do go ahead. How long have I been drawing? That's kind of a difficult question, because in terms of just drawing for, you know, for the enjoyment of it, I've been drawing since I was a little kid. One of the things my parents like to tell me is when they were remodeling the house that I was born in when I was about 5 years old, 4 years old, they would just stick me in like a high chair in the back garden with crayons, so they could watch me as they painted the sides of the house. And yeah, I would just kind of mess about with crayons all day. And then as I got older, I was incredibly lucky to have a family that encouraged it, or at least didn't like squish the fact that I wanted to kind of, you know, that I loved art and it was something I wanted to pursue. So I studied it at my A-levels, which is kind of like high school, is one of the subjects I took. Ironically, the other high school / A-level subjects I took were maths and physics, because if the whole art thing didn't work out, my backup plan was to go into astrophysics, which is quite different. So I still like space. Space is cool. I'm just gonna really roughly work in some of that texture for the hat. There we go. There's a cute hat. And then I kind of knew that art was something I seriously wanted to pursue as a professional career when I was about 15, I think, was when I realized it was what I wanted to do professionally. And I was actually inspired by, I don't know if anyone else used to read them, the Imagine Effects magazines, which had a lot of fantasy art and digital art and stuff. Yeah, so that was kind of where I took a lot of inspiration from. When I realized that concept art was a thing, I was like, damn, that's something I want to get into. So kind of, I think the thing that helped persuade my family that I wanted to do art and follow it as a career path was the fact that kind of before they realized that concept art was a thing you can do, is it's like, oh, what careers are there if you study art? Like, what are you gonna do? Just like become a fine artist for a living and hope that people buy your work? But no, the fact that there's a lot more to the industry than just fine art was, I think, what helped persuade my parents that they wanted to support me in that, which was really helpful, because without, you know, that support, it's a lot harder to do that kind of thing. And then I went to uni in the southwest. I went to Falmouth University to study animation and visual effects, because a lot of the time for concept art, it helps to understand the projects it's used for. So understanding the animation and film pipeline is super useful. So that's kind of why I choose to study that rather than just studying illustration or fine art. I didn't really learn any drawing skills. at uni. So if you're thinking of going to art school to, learn technical skills, becoming a better artist, I wouldn't recommend it. It's just too much money. I'm lucky that I live in the UK, where yes, our tuition fees are ridiculous, but they're easier to pay back than I understand it is in the US. With your debt system, it's very scary to me. Yeah, so I was quite lucky to be able to go and study there. But like I say, it's not how I kind of learnt to draw. It was nothing to do with my schooling. My learning to draw came from when I was younger, copying artists I saw in Imagine Effects. I used to kind of look at the styles I liked and try my own version of it. I taught myself digital art when I was about, like I say, 14, 15, based on online kind of tutorials on DeviantArt back in the days when DeviantArt was really big. So yeah, I learned in a lot of different ways, but I would definitely say if the reason you want to go to art school is to get better at drawing, there are better ways to do it. Don't really like that curve there. That's not doing it for me at all. I think these lines are a bit too strong. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, I do find the loan system in the US terrifying. Yeah, I have two DeviantArt accounts. I have one that shall never be named because it's from when I was like 13, 14, and oh my goodness. Yeah, it's got a load of my old fanfiction on it, so no one's ever allowed to see it. And then I have a slightly more respectable DeviantArt as well, from when I was a bit older. I haven't used them in a very long time. I kind of moved to Tumblr when I went to uni, and then from Tumblr I went to Twitter, and obviously ArtStation was a thing around that point. Let's just put a little rim around this this edging, just so it kind of sticks out a bit. Yeah, Tumblr I only use because I still have quite a big following there, so it's useful for a few things. Let's just make this little braided cord going around the arm. Yeah, I had a load of stuff flagged as not safe for work on Tumblr when I was like, there's nothing not safe for work about any of this. I haven't even painted any nudity. Okay, we're nearly there with this. I mean, I have painted lots of nudity in the past, just not for anything that was on my Tumblr. I still maintain that life drawing, if you can do it, is one of the best ways to understand anatomy and improve that sort of thing. And there are lots of websites now where you can get just pose references for life drawing. Very helpful. Okay, we are nearly there with this, which is great. Yeah, Twitter has definitely become the best one for me. Yes, it's a dumpster fire a lot of the time, but the art community is very good. And I find ArtStation a little bit too, I don't know, it's just very bro-y, and most of the art that makes the front page is not stuff that I feel totally comfortable with half the time, which is a shame because it's a really good portfolio host site. It's just unfortunate that it has a certain demographic. But I still use ArtStation a lot for showing my work to prospective employers, that sort of thing. Alright, that's the bottom of the sleeve. Can see how that's going without the sketch underneath. Yeah, still lives is very important as well. Depending, like, certain things are super useful for certain skills. There's kind of something for everything, really. Every kind of area of skill. Oops, let's make the eraser a bit smaller. By broy, I mean it's like a lot of the front page stuff are like bikini armor, tanks, gun renders. It's the same kind of stuff that, you know, it's just kind of like always the same, and it always looks like it should be in, like, it's just a particular demographic. It's hard to describe. And when they're all like super skinny white women cyborgs, it just gets a bit like, well, I'm really bored of seeing this every day. It doesn't feel like it's displaying a diverse range of skill. And not necessarily Warhammer stuff, because like Warhammer's quite stylized in some ways. Yeah, we, like, anyone who's worked in the game industry knows a few game industry dude bros. Alright, I'm actually gonna use the hair layer, I think. Oh, and don't forget to save, very important. Oh yeah, like, it's interesting because there are, as long as you avoid the main kind of like the known entities, there are some really great packs of reference photos on ArtStation, but it's not the kind of stuff that gets widely publicized because it's not like, it's like when people think of concept art, they think of beautifully polished images, and that's not really what concept art is. But because of like ArtStation, a lot of people think that's what you do in that role, and it's not that at all. It's quite different. Yeah, D&D art is fun, and I enjoy it because the community is nice, mostly. Like, a lot of other, like, D&D artists are very supportive, and they'll uplift each other. Alright, there is the strap. I'm just going to add a little buckle to it up here. So, just going to erase a little bit. Embroidery! Yeah, there's so much embroidery on ArtStation. It's a real problem. It's the embroidery bros, you know? I'm sorry, I just love that. And then we'll just do the tail of the strap coming down here. And we've got the film noir music playing, so it's all like super funky. bag is even adjustable. Okay, so I think we'll do the other arm now. Yeah, let's do the other arm. We got a lot done today. We've done the whole. We did all that costume design, which is awesome. That can sometimes take me quite a long time. Of course, the most time-consuming part is still the painting and rendering part, but hopefully I will have this piece done in the next couple of days, so you'll be able to see the finished one. Alright, let's drop down to a 6 for the sleeve top because it's quite detailed. Yeah, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have laughed. I just found the concept of ArtStation being overtaken by embroidery just is the most wholesome and awesome thing ever, and I want it to happen. Okay, let's pop in the tie we've got up here. Oops. There we go. I'm gonna go back up to 7 now, actually. Alright, nearly there. Kind of got the nice creases there in the sleeve. I really like the pose of this character. I'm really pleased I picked it because it's got quite a lot of movement. And sometimes I feel like my work is quite static. Okay, let's do the hand, and then this arm is mostly done. Yeah, one of my good friends from university is from Norway, and he taught himself to speak English by playing Pokemon games, the old Pokemon games in English. And I was always like, I'm always so impressed when people can speak a second language so fluently, and I really wish it was something that was encouraged more in schools in the UK, because I would love to have that ability, and it's just never encouraged in schools here, which is such a shame because I love languages. Okay, there is the top half done. Let's do another save. Really? I mean, I started learning, we'd had French and Spanish lessons when I was at primary school, which is like elementary school, I think, for you guys. So between the ages of about, not 6, starting about 8 years old, we learned languages. I can still remember a decent amount of French, but that's about it. Unfortunately, it's really such a shame. I wish I could have kept it up. Thank you so much, K21804 and Open Headcase, for following. Alright, so I've done some more thinking, and I think I might do the embroidery, think the embroidery I might do on the paint layer. I think if I line it, it might look a bit too busy if there's loads of lines as well as the colours. So that's what I'm going to do there. Okay, so what to do next? Let's start on the accessories belt. I think it'll be nice to get that done. Which means working on our scary skull boy. And then we'll just do the strap coming down. We're just going to do the contours of the bone fairly realistically for now. We're kind of going to add a bit of extra hatching here and there just to get hatching I find is quite useful when rendering bone because it gets that kind of scratchy feeling that I'm after. You can kind of see that it works quite well for bones in particular. It's like kind of a gothic feeling. Obviously this skull has been adapted to a mask, so it's a bit different. Just following the shape of the beak down. Like so. And there is the mask. I'm just going to do the back of it because it has like a little, not hood, but like a slightly more comfortable. I'm going to do like a black band that goes around the outside of the hood. Like so. And there is the mask. Oh, looking at the time. I probably actually am going to leave it there for today. I know we haven't completely finished the line art, but we got quite a lot done. And we did like all of the design sketch stage, so that's also pretty awesome. Take off my gross drawing glove. So, without further ado, let's drop some links in chat. If you want to make sure you're kept up to date with when I'm streaming, you want to see my latest uploads or hear about any new projects I'm working on, please do give me a follow on Twitter. It's where I put the most kind of updates and that kind of thing. It's kind of like my hub for most announcements and stuff. Occasionally I'll do giveaways, that sort of thing tend to be hosted on Twitter as well. Next up, I also have Instagram, if you're more of an Instagram person. Yeah, again, similar stuff to Twitter. I'll do some miniature painting and costume making from time to time. YouTube is, voila. YouTube, I will put up my VODs from streams usually like a couple of hours after they finished airing, so you can expect the VOD from today's stream in a couple of hours. As well as the VODs from streams on my YouTube, I also have a new series that I am currently making, which is involves the lore books of Destiny 2, the video game, which I'm really into because sci-fi fiction is awesome, and Destiny 2 has some really cool fiction embedded in the game, which so if you like that kind of thing, please check out those videos. Next up, music. If you've enjoyed the music in today's stream, it's all by a really wonderful artist named Kai Engel. Kai Engel's stuff can be found on the Free Music Archive, as well as Spotify, and it's great royalty-free chill stuff. Good ambience for D&D games. It's also obviously royalty-free, so it's good for streams. Check it out. After that, I believe Stu popped it in earlier, but if you want to see my full portfolio, please have a look at my art station. It's where pretty much everything is. Yeah, if you just want to see my work, that's the place to go. Last but most certainly not least is Patreon. One ways you can support my work and keep this as my kind of full-time occupation is checking out my Patreon. You can subscribe at various tiers, starting from just $1 a month. You can get benefits such as exclusive art, works in progress, occasional tutorials that I will do, like step-by-step broken down tutorials. I've done a couple of those now, which you can find on my Patreon, as well as making commission priority when I come to open commissions again, which at the moment is looking around March because I'm moving house at the end of this month, so that's going to be chaotic. And I suppose very, very lastly, I'm currently saving up for a improved webcam so that I can improve the quality of my streams and start making some new stuff this year. So if you fancy supporting that in any way, I'll drop a quick link to the Ko-fi where I've kind of got my goal that I'm working up towards. Obviously, don't feel like you have to do it at all. It's just, if you feel like tossing a bit of extra support my way, that's the best way to do it. And so, I think that's everything. So thank you all for joining me so very much. It's been a really fun stream today. I will be back next week on Wednesday at 5 p.m. GMT. And who knows, maybe I'll play a bit more Stardew Valley before that. We will wait and see. So until then, stay safe, stay warm and cozy, and look after each other. I will see you very soon. Goodbye for now.